Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the C Squared podcast. Another week, another tournament won by you, Fabi. Congratulations, Chess 9LX back-to-back champion. No, wait, never mind. You didn't win it last year. Last year it was Sam Sevian. You fought all the way until the end last year as well, but this year you took the bull by its horns early on. You took the lead very early in day one, 3 out of 3. So very good start, and you kept it all throughout the event. I have to say, quite impressive. How are you feeling right now?
Yeah, pretty good. Last year it was a bit disappointing because I had to beat Sam in the last round, and then I would win clear first, but instead I lost and I got like fifth place. So it was a pretty big difference between clear first and getting nothing. And this year I had to win, although it wasn't clear if I had to, but at some point during the game it became clear I have to beat Ray Robson in the last round because Hikaru went from a bad position to beating Sam Shankland. If I had drawn, it would have been enough for shared first, but of course, clear first feels better. That's no doubt about that. And yeah, it's my second time winning the 9LX, so I'm pretty happy. First time was the most difficult for sure because that was a really strong one. This one was not as strong as that, I have to say, but it had Hikaru, um, who is still the Fischer Random reigning world champion. I mean, there is no world championship, so nobody can really nobody can fight for the
funny
title.
to say that, right? Because
No, it's funny to say because he won it 2 years ago,
I think
more than
like
2 years ago.
ago.
No, 2022. It
2022.
was.
Okay.
But okay, in you can't really say. I mean, it's of course a world championship, but you can't say at some point you can't be the world champion forever. Like there has to be another event organized, or just like you're world champion forever. You won it once, and that's it. They have to at some point organize it again. Otherwise, the title, of course, it doesn't run out, but like it can't be forever.
It sort of feels like a missed opportunity, right? And I don't know exactly why it's not happening. Obviously, chess.com organized it a couple of years back, and I think chess.com organized it in 2021 or 2020. I don't remember exactly when we went to Norway. But
that was 2019 when Wesley
was it
won.
2019? 2019, yeah.
That's 2019.
So after 2019, they took a break, then they organized it again, 2022. So it seems like it's happening every two to 3 years. But the question is why?
Just random.
Yeah, it's very random.
Yeah, it would be fun to have more. I mean, we have the Fisher Random events, which are called the freestyle events, organized. One was organized in Germany so far, but it looks like they're continuing that they're going to continue that cycle, if you want to call it a cycle, but it's like a series of tournaments, uh, which I'm excited about. I mean, we're playing a promotional match. Magnus and I are playing in Singapore
Yeah, that's
later
exciting.
this month, November. Yeah. But the Fisher Random is very haphazardly organized very often. It doesn't have much infrastructure for the moment. I think it would be interesting. I mean, it's definitely a very valid form of chess. Some people don't like it, some people love it. Okay. I enjoy it. I think part of it's what like Hikaru said, part of it, that uh it's a lazy form of chess because you don't really have to do any preparation. Like
Yep.
preparation, yeah, you can do, but it's not like normal chess where even in Blitz you have to do some preparation for openings. Otherwise, you really get left behind, especially for classical. But Fisher Random, of course, you can't analyze everything. It's just okay. Maybe, I mean, even remembering that you saw the position before is a challenge.
Do you
Like
feel
we had,
maybe this is why it's not viewed or not as organized and it's almost viewed as a side event? Is it because the protagonists, the players, there's not full tension, right, in the tournament? Because you also mentioned it yourself, you kind of take it as not a joke, obviously, but a fun event, right?
sure. I mean, it's a fun event, but also it depends. Like the this event, it's 3 days long. It is sort of, also getting Gary back in the ring. It's sort of more of those like fun, not exhibition. I wouldn't call it an exhibition type event, but it's between like very serious and exhibition type. Similar to the match against Magnus that I'll play. It's like it's serious, but it's also exhibition in some way. Like we're not fighting for a title or anything, right? But the tournament which I played in this Waisenhaus event, the Waisenhaus is the name of the resort,
Yes.
earlier this year, where I played in the final against Magnus, and before that I played Levon, before that I played Gukesh. Um, that I took very seriously because, you know, it felt like this kind of big, very hyped up event, a lot of viewership, um, a lot of showmanship, if you want to say that too. Like it was very well organized. Magnus was there, of course. That always, if you win a tournament ahead of Magnus, it does add an extra layer. Like there's some players that I do view them as if they're in the tournament, they add prestige. Of course, Magnus is the number one player, and I would say Hikaru is also one of those players because if you look at the tournament we just played, he's still putting up a huge score. He didn't win the tournament. He got clear second, but 7 out of 9, the score that he had normally wins. So uh, you have to keep up the pressure when certain players are playing, right? So definitely Magnus adds to the prestige and Hikaru as well because he is number 3 in the world. And I would say the younger guys as well. Like um if you're winning a tournament where you have all the young guys, Ali Reza, Gukesh, Prague,
Well, that's
Arjun,
that's that's the thing. It's all about the stories, right? And the storyline and who you're fighting against, the rivalries that are being built outside
well,
of the actual playing hall, right?
sure. I don't care about the narrative stuff. I mean, it's just who I view as the most dangerous opponents
But
also.
that's what you said when you said the showmanship and the
Oh, that too.
organizing, putting up a front, putting up a spectacle for everybody, right? For the fans, for the players as well. It
Yeah,
adds an
well,
extra layer of prestige, but also of pressure.
definitely. Yeah, well, I think the having the eyeballs on it, of course, like if I were to play Magnus and it wasn't televised, I would care, of course, to play well. But it would feel strange. It would feel like, okay, I guess I'm playing for some money. Nobody will ever see it. I know that sounds very strange, but it does add something, of course, the viewership. So if you have a very big event where you know that, on a single day, maybe 50,000 people will be tuned in. Um, I don't know the numbers, of course, for every event, but the more numbers you have, of course, the more prestigious there is. And also, the more prestigious it is, the more numbers you have. So it goes both ways. Like
Mm-hmm.
the candidates, people might think, okay, 14 round um, classical tournament is just boring. That's what people would think, but that's where you get all the viewers, the candidates in the world championship, even though, of course, on paper and actually objectively, I would say a two-player 14 round match is not very interesting from a chess point of view. I mean, you have one game going on at once. It might even be a dull draw. But the viewership will be there because it's called the World Championship. It has prestige. So anyway, that's a side point, but the main point of like uh who adds prestige in terms of being able to score ahead of them. Definitely that Hikaru was playing in the last one, I would say makes me also feel quite good about the victory because he's able to put up these big scores. He's a 2,800 player. He's one of the only three 2,800s at the moment. So he's one of them. And so to score ahead, and especially when he's scoring 7 out of 9 to score ahead, it is quite yeah, quite a good feeling. And yeah, Magnus, well, definitely that's even better
Yeah.
to score ahead of him. That's always quite important because if you look in terms of the last like 15 years, I don't know if 15 is too much. Maybe the last, yeah, 10 years, but even a bit more than 10, maybe 12 years. The amount of players who have won a tournament where Magnus is playing is very few. There are very few players who have done that. Um, and they're all players who have gotten 2,800, I think. So it would be, well, I mean, of course, I'm not going to list everyone, but it would be really the creme de la creme. And many players, even great players, have not managed to win a tournament that Magnus has played in.
Yeah.
So that's always prestigious.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Anyway, I think we're kind of going off in tangents, but
Back to back, definitely victory is definitely a satisfying feat. Now, another thing that I was having some fun with, and I know some of the fans were having fun with, on the forums as well was the fact that obviously some people have branded you no talent, all prep, whatnot. This was a funny discussion. Levon also chimed in after the tournament. Imagine what Fabi would be doing if he had some talent. That was a funny tweet. Um, is that some extra incentive for you to kind of tell everybody, hey, look, I'm not all prep, even though this is just a funny narrative that's been evolving around you. But is this something that you're thinking about at all?
Like, not at all. I have no insecurities about my play. No, the thing is, I have in general thought about like, okay, why this became a thing. Not even like the kind of who has more talent because we've discussed that. I mean,
Yes. Yes.
that's on the record, right? We discussed that, and I don't really know if I understand like the clear definition of what talent is, and everyone will have a different definition. So that's, but like the very often there was a narrative that bad at blitz, right? And
Correct.
and then the thing is like I think a lot of it was media driven.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, chess media.
Mm-hmm.